Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs. It's Canada Day. It is the weather's finally getting nicer. The sky actually lightened up and the rain is slowing down. So who knows? Maybe it'll stop. But it's been really crappy weather for the last couple hours. I was worried that I might not even be able to do the show because the power might have gotten knocked out. But it did not get knocked out. So there you go. All right. My apologies for the not having a Joel Edmondson trade video out there because it's not for lack of trying. I recorded one. It took me a long time to record because StreamYard here, and it's a good thing I tried to record this because I had to clear my cache. It kept going out like, snap, but the recording still went on. So it was a weird thing. So that was one thing. And then I chose a piece of video, I guess, highlights for Edmondson for the intro, and YouTube didn't like it. It got copyright claimed twice when I fixed it. So I didn't have time to put it up before the show, and I will fix it after the show. So please look for that. Joel, by the time it goes out, nobody's interested anymore. But I got to put it out because I already recorded it. So enough about me. Yeah, I mean, it was free agency day, and not much happened. They traded Joel Edmondson. On top of that, let's see what else happened for the Habs. They signed 2 minor league players, and Jonathan Drouin signed with Colorado Avalanche. So it was July 1st, so he was no longer a member of the Habs. But he signed with the Colorado Avalanche, so I know that Larry asked me that. I looked at the comments before coming in. So if you're here, let's talk about whatever deals happened. There were a lot, hardly any while I was doing the live stream this afternoon, me and Matt. But almost as soon as we went off, they just flooded in. Boom, 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 boom. So there were a lot of deals. I don't know if anything was big. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll do that here. Let's see. There's a lot of comments. Let's see. Habs Guru, nice to see Drew signed somewhere else. By the way, thanks for coming in both times. Hope he does better for himself, and it's with the Colorado Avalanche. Larry the Cable Guy, a long time no talk. Well, sort of in comments. Yeah, he went to Colorado. Now there are 2 Xhekajs. Yes, they drafted Florian Xhekaj. It wouldn't be something if they were on the same defensive pairing. He is a forward, so that's not happening. They would not only be hitting Xhekajs, but Jack other guys. That's, I don't know. That doesn't sound right, Larry. But no, Florian is a winger, I believe. So that's not going to happen. Chicago Steve. How's it going, Chicago Steve? Been a long time as well. Good to see you back. Joe from Australia. Good to see you, Joe, again. Thanks for being here both times. Hey, Lucas, how you doing? No worries. Don't worry. People have lives to live, dude. Gislain, how's it going, Gislain? Leon, how's it going? Leon's got it right. Colorado, that's where Drouin signed. Renegade Man, how's it going? Surprised that Habs drafted 3 goalies. I'm not. I said it in the end of the draft stream. I said I thought their first pick in the 3rd round, because that was their next pick, was going to be a goalie, and that I thought they'd probably go for 2. They went for 3. It's kind of like Lay's potato chips. You can't just have one goalie. Andre, hey Andre, how you doing, man? Stand a man. Good Canada Day to all, and Drouin signed with Colorado. Everybody knows where Drouin went. At least Drouin has a chance to play for a winner. Now that he's there, maybe it's not a winner anymore. Filibuster. Drouin will do well over there, 50 to 60 bucks. Phil, you're dreaming, man. You might be right. Well, you're right. I mean, he does get 50 points normally. So, yeah, I mean, 50 points. Does he play a full season? Does he not? We'll see if he does that over there or not. It's not going to shock me if Drouin has a really good year because he doesn't have the pressure here. Habs did nothing. They didn't expect them to do anything. I didn't. And don't expect much from them in this offseason. I don't think they're going to do much. I kind of do expect they'll plug a hole here and there. Like, I think right defense, they'll find somebody for a year or two, sign him to a short-term deal, an experienced guy, and plug the hole there for now. That's about it. I don't see much else. But, I mean, they could do other things. Edmondson was traded to Washington. I'll talk about it, but I did a video that I want to get out. I did look the video. Here's the script. See, Joel Edmondson traded. That's the intro. I did this thing. It took me a lot to do it, and I want you guys to watch it. But when this is done, the stream, I'm either gonna fix it because it won't take long to fix, and put it out right away, or I'm gonna have supper and then do that. But I think I'll fix it first. So please look for it after this live stream is over. Edmonton to Washington for a third and a seventh, and they traded him. No, they got him, giving up a fifth, and then got a third, trading him 3 years later. That's pretty damn good. And a seventh. They had to retain 50%, but that's nothing. Gislain's got the two minor league deals. Philip Mayette, I think they got him from the Capitals. He played for the Capitals before, and then Braden Keeper, I think that's his name, is Keeper. He's got a weird last name, and he was in the Canucks organization, I believe. Larry, yeah, I mean, this is a big thing, right? They've got to move some contracts. I was hoping for more, but Drouin wasn't coming back. He's a UFA. He wasn't coming back. So, I mean, that was gone. As soon as midnight struck last night, or 12:01 last night, Drouin was gone. For those of you who really liked him, I feel bad. For those of us who didn't like him anymore here, I'm happy. For Drouin, I'm happy too, because you know what? I said he was going to get a contract in the NHL, and he signed with Colorado. That's a pretty good signing. He played with McKinnon before. So, how many rumors did we have that Colorado was going to trade for Drouin? Didn't happen. So, I'm happy for him that way, and I wish him the best. I'm just happy he's not here anymore. It wasn't the spot for him. Leon, you think the Habs will end up in the bottom third next season? So you're talking, I think that's a possibility, but I also think, I think you're probably likely even that they finish somewhere 11 to 14 even. I think it's very possible with health, and they don't have the injuries, that they actually might make a run at a wild card spot for a while, and fall off near the end. And it's great experience for these kids, and I'm hoping that's what happens. So, yeah. So that means, next year's first round draft pick not going to be as good as this one. Hey, Rory, how's it going? Feel like it's been a while for you as well. Good to see you, buddy. Honestly, hope Drouin wins a cup so he can say F the haters. Yeah, you know what? I'm not so much a hater as I just said. This wasn't the spot for him. He didn't handle the pressure well here and needed to be gone, and they should have moved him before this. So I wish him well, and hey, let him have a good end of his career. He's got a good 5 years or more, to go. I wish him well. And if he does well over there, I'm not going to feel bad, or I'm going to feel jealous or whatever. I'm just going to be happy for the guy. But it's, I guess you can call me a hater, I guess. We do not merely have two Xhekajs, we have both of them. Important distinction. Yes. Nice spelling of Xhekaj. That's got to be a name that is the most misspelled hockey player's name out there. I think Habs and Drouin just don't mesh well together. He didn't handle the pressure being French in Quebec. Some players don't. Some players avoid it at all costs. He should have. I don't think it was up to him, though, at the time. But Number 36 for David Reinbacher. Did you hear something? I didn't hear anything. I have not heard anything for what his number will be. It won't be 23. That was just because he was drafted in 23. Drouin only got 825,000. Yeah, not a surprise that's what he got. But you see, what did I tell you, Phil? I said league minimum, didn't I? A little above. But Phil, 50 points, that is what would have that's a normal season for Drouin. So why wouldn't he be able to go over there and get 50 points? I think he'll have even maybe a better season. And you're probably right when you say 60. It's possible over there. Whatever. Good for him. Let him be happy. I don't think the guy was happy here. He'll go over to Colorado. He'll be happy. I feel good for him that way. Renegade Man says, with Reinbacher, the Habs are strong on LHD and RHD. F the haters. Defense wins championships. And that is 100% right. Once this kid starts to play and starts to play well, all those haters, they're all going to become, I wasn't. No, I was good with it when it happened. Yeah, I was one of those guys. I can't believe the reaction other people had. That's what all of them are going to say. No one's ever going to have been a hater. You'll see. Do you think our draft was a statement of lack of confidence in Primo? It might be because I saw when I was able to see anything on Twitter. Another thing that's Primo, they're thinking of waiving him. They have to waive him to move him now, right? Is that what I'm saying? No, he has to clear waivers to be able to go up and down. He's at that spot, and they're thinking of. I read that they might think of waiving him. I don't think so. We need goalies in the system, but I think I think this kid Jacob Fowler is probably in their minds the next guy. Like that's the next legitimate potential number one goalie of the future. Or at very least, the partner for Monty. So, yeah. Drouin haters beware. The pressure is off in Colorado and has chemistry with one of the best players in the world. He might make us eat your words. But does he still have chemistry? That you don't know. From that many years apart, you don't know that. It's possible they still do. And like I said, for Drouin, I wish him the best. Why shouldn't I? I just didn't like him here. He wasn't a place for him here. He needed to go. Be someone else's problem or someone else's boon. Am I convincing you yet that I'm not a hater? No. Oh. Larry thinks the Habs were going to fill needs in this draft. They did. Goalie was a very weak spot for them. Monty and Allen. Jeez, what the hell's burning or not? Monty and Allen. We're not on fire in here. It looks like it, though. Monty and Allen did okay. I think that's a bit unfair in that, first of all, Allen had some injuries, and the team with all the injuries, I think their okay performances were better than that because of the challenges. So, but I mean, the numbers were just okay. You're right. I'm not sold on Primo either. I don't think the Habs are anymore either. So, at the very least, they want competition in there for that. And they were also understaffed. Like they didn't have enough goalies when injuries hit. They were struggling just to have a goalie to start. So, I like all three teams, the Rocket and the Lions as well. So. Phil. Well, it makes sense. Phil says I convinced him that Price's contract won't be traded. Because think about it. If they're going to trade him, first of all, he hasn't officially, like, he's not done officially, like, right. And like, if they were going to get rid of his contract, right, I mean, he wouldn't have been at the draft, and he wouldn't have been upstate on stage announcing, the pick. I mean, that to me shows their commitment to him as a Hab and his commitment to the team still as a Hab. Oh, this is interesting. Bobby Orr watched the Steve Dangle podcast, and he broke down the Leafs, and he isn't sure they're going to make the playoffs. It's about time that shit hits the fan. Listen, I don't think the Leafs helped themselves at all. So far, since, let's say, since Dubas was fired, right? Or since they lost in the playoffs, I don't think they've helped themselves at all. The only good thing for them, Detroit, of all teams, Steve Yzerman signed Justin Hall. So maybe Justin Hall's better than we think. Just he was with the Leafs. I don't know. I don't know why this shit is smoking so much. My doobie is smoking its own doobie because it's wet. It's amazing that at the trade deadline, Dubas got Shen, O'Reilly, and Achari for draft picks, and now all are gone. All are gone. They all signed elsewhere, and it's laughable that everything Dubas did, nobody wanted to stay. Nobody. And apparently with O'Reilly, they offered him contract, and he said, yeah, he's looking outside Toronto. I don't want to come back. Renegade Man makes a really good point here. I didn't read it all, but it's a really good point. Red Wings drafted Moritz Seider early. Same with the Devils with Nemec. And why? Because they're both right-hand D, which is apparently, more of a rarity, just like Reinbacher. And because there's more value to that. And that's a cornerstone for a championship. And that's right. I think the development camp started today. They're having a scrimmage on Tuesday. And it's going to be interesting to see if they play Hudson with Reinbacher, who are both at the development camp. No bling bling. That's kind of my point too, is that Reinbacher was not my choice, but it's not a KK mistake. That's a really good way to put it. It's not the same. You can't equate this with them picking KK over Brady Tkachuk. You cannot. It's not that. KK is no Reinbacher, I'm going to say. Even though we don't know for sure with Reinbacher, he's a can't miss. He's a can't miss. And we're going to be really pleased with him. That's it. But he wasn't my choice. But I'm definitely sold on him right now. As who was it earlier today? He said, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. J-Fed, I think, told me I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. There's no Drouin division. People liked him. There's no doubt. Some of you guys liked Drouin a lot. I didn't admit you heard that? Nah, I didn't say that loud enough for anybody to hear that. I said some people might consider me a hater. I didn't say I'm a hater. I didn't say that. I'm denying it. Deny. We all have a soft spot for Drouin in our hearts, I think. Only on my end, only not necessarily as the player, but as a person and the struggles he had being here. I don't make light of the fact that French players have trouble with the pressure here. I don't make light of that, really. It is a serious thing, and it is a thing. So for me, I feel for the guy that way, and that's why go somewhere else. Now he's going to have a good hockey life, hopefully. I'm happy for the kid now. He's still young enough to enjoy the next 5 years playing hockey. He wouldn't have here. You're talking about the trade for Drouin. Listen, he was really up. If you go look at his Tampa Bay highlights, they're pretty good. He looks. That player did not come to Montreal. Sorry, something happened in between Tampa Bay and getting here to Montreal that player never came here. I never saw that Drouin play not a second of hockey in a Habs uniform. Because I watched highlights and it was like, wow, this kid is good. Look at this kid. And that's not the guy we got. How many 50-point players you know are making minimum wage in the NHL? That's because that's a prove me deal. He's got to prove himself if he wants a bigger contract. And besides, there's no money to throw around, and he's going to have to prove himself and then get a better deal. So I'm not surprised at all that that's what he got. Why do you think we got so little for Edmondson? We got more for Edmondson than we paid to get Edmondson. Bergevin sent a fifth-round pick to get Edmondson, and we got back a third and a seventh after 3 years. I don't think that's so little, and there's no money to throw around. Teams don't have money. It's simple as that. With the cap not going up more than $1 million or whatever it's going up this year, they don't have money this year, and that's why look at the trade deadline, not trade deadline. Look at the free agent frenzy. How many players signed for multiple years, like above 2 seasons? How many? A few, but usually it was 3. So it's 1, 2, or 3 seasons. That's what you saw there, and that's because of the cap not going up, and not great. Not all great free agents. I can't believe what Alex Killorn got. Alex Killorn got 4 years, $6.35 million for 4 years. Alex Killorn, that's okay. Way too much. And I like the player, but that's way too much. But other than that, I thought some guys, they didn't get big money. Steve Duchesne got $3 million for 1 year. The money wasn't big. They weren't throwing money around. Ghislain, maybe Lehkonen doesn't go back on line 2 till Drouin, Well, I guess they'll figure that out in training camp. Whatever. It's not my business now. Whatever they do, not on me. Also can't wait to see how the moves this summer pan out for us. Which moves are you talking about? What they might do this summer? I don't expect much. I don't expect much. Their team that they want for next year is mostly here. If Drouin wins a cup, that's no skin off our nose. He wasn't going to do anything for us here. Like, it's not like he was here, 6 seasons? It wasn't going to change in season 7. It wasn't. Because I think if we would have seen that, we would have seen something last season when he's fighting for a contract and all that. We didn't see much from him last season. I'm sorry, we didn't. Primo to the Flyers rumors. I guess that's a natural thought because that's where his father played. But I haven't heard any trade rumors yet. They bought out Landeskog. Wow. They had to free up money. I mean, Colorado had to free up money. They didn't give any to Drouin, but they had to. They were everybody's against the cap. Everybody's tight. Pretty much everybody. Let's put it that way. Okay, Rory, are you saying that you don't like the new Hook deal? Well, I do. I like the New Hook deal a lot. I wanted New Hook the year we drafted Caulfield, but I mean, it wasn't because I didn't want Caulfield, but I didn't think we're getting Caulfield. And New Hook was my guy then. You know, New Hook is more than likely going to be better than either the 31st or the 37th pick would have been, and maybe even both. And it's not that those picks couldn't be good, of course, but I think they feel that New Hook will be better, and I think so too. New Hook is this year's Kirby Doc, and I like the player. I don't think they gave up too much, because I mean, who'd they give up? The defenseman? He wasn't Fairbrother. He wasn't going to do anything here. So no, I think New Hook's a piece of that puzzle that we're looking to build. NHL and politics, I think you're wrong. When we got KK, if you like, and I did my research, right? There's no way some of the predictions and some of the experts talking about this player, they didn't say anything like they do about Reinbacher. Reinbacher has a very high ceiling. He does things. I've seen this 3, 4, 5 times. He does things on the ice you can't teach players how to do that. He's got great potential, and at minimum, he's still going to be a really good player. Like, I believe that. That's not KK. I'm sorry, but it's not. Hey, Joe Pilata. He believes if we stay healthy, with a few surprises, a wild card can be achieved. It can be achieved. And if we also get good goaltending, let's see how it plays out. I don't think they'll make the playoffs next year. What I do think though is they have the potential to make a run at a wild card spot. I don't really see that they'll get it, but I mean, I could be wrong and they could. But I think they'll make a run for a length of time, and then near the end of the season fall off. That's what I see for next year. See if I'm right. Landeskog on LTIR, not bought out. Apologies from Ghislain. Dobis ahead in the goalie line. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think the two possibilities over Primo are the new kid that they just got, Fowler, and Jacob Dobis. I think Jacob Dobis is definitely a potential of that type of goalie. That's why they re-signed him. And he's done well so far. So yeah. But they're looking for they're looking for the next goalie, or at least the next one to play with Monty. Larry Drew as someone else's boom or bust. It could be still, but I don't think he'll be a bust. He'll do okay. He'll be Drouin at the least, right? What Drouin didn't create anything for me. I'm happy he's gone. He's gone. That's it. He's not. I don't have to talk about him anymore. After this live stream, I don't have to really talk about him anymore. So no, I don't feel that way. For crying out loud, what happened to Price? What do you mean, what happened to Price? Carey Price, he's not coming back. He didn't say Reinbacher, Carey Price. He didn't know what I don't know. He had a brain fart on the last name, and Kent Hughes stepped in and said David Reinbacher, and I'm going to say Reinbacher. I have to make a note of something. Sorry. Trust in Kent Hughes. That's what I'm doing. And Gordon. I think they've done a pretty good job so far. Very good job so far. Him and company know more than we do. If you disagree, then you would have been a scout in the NHL. It's right, right? It's not that they're infallible, but I'm sorry. There's nothing that they've done so far that makes me worry at all about the future for the Habs. And I don't understand why people don't like Newhook. Except for it's the draft picks, because we all love grass is greener on the other side of the fence. But in this case, it might not be that way. And more than likely isn't. Newhook is the other side of the fence that's greener. Joe, yeah, I mean they made a promise they would do that. So either there's no difference, like the guys that they fired weren't that bad, or and they just wanted to look right. We said we're going to do something and we did. So it'll either be no better or this guy's got a great reputation that they brought in, and I think we should see an improvement on that. I doubt in 3 years in a row we would have had the same craziness with injuries, but you never know. I mean, either way, if they changed something or they didn't. Excuse me on that. No, let me scroll down. That's why I'm out of comments. I'm not sure who you're saying never heard Reinbacher before, but I heard of him in learning about the players leading up to the draft. But I didn't want, I didn't hear some of the stuff that's come out, since we got him, and there's stuff being uncovered of what kind of player this guy is. I had never seen any of that. And listen here, because you might not have seen this. What do I have here? This is something from the Swiss League. Okay, so in the Swiss League, they have this tracking system, tracks all players that are under 18. I don't know what the age bracket is, 18 to 22, maybe something like that, or 16 to 22. They track them right up until they're 30, projecting how their careers are gonna come out. So here's the story. So let me get to where I want to. So the guy reporting it, he was on Tony Marinaro, I think, yesterday. So his service, NL Ice Data, they tracked 22 of Reinbacher's games with Claughton and came to the following conclusion. So this is from him talking now. To get deeper, we also, other than tracking 22 of his games, have a prospects model, which looks at every player, not just in Switzerland or Europe, every player from 16 to 22, and projects their potential career until they reach 30 years old. On this one, Reinbacher was simply the second best player in the draft behind Connor Bedard, with a 52% chance of being an elite top 10% player in the league on average during the next decade. So that's over Michkov and all those centers. He was rated by these. And listen, the Swiss League is not it's the Swiss League. It's not like that anymore. It's a tough league. And they had him as the second best player in the draft. So everybody wanted them to get the best player available when they came up to pick. And they got, by some people's ratings, the second best player in the draft. at pick number 5. I don't see that as a bad thing at all. There you go. Rant number 2 or 3 or 4 for the damn day for me. I mean, well, what do you guys think of that? I'm going to scroll a little bit just to try to catch up on comments. Rory Lafreniere, it's come out that they are not going. He's not being. What's the wording? He's not on the block. Let's put it that way. They're not looking to trade Lafreniere, the Rangers. He is not being traded. And like I said, when they fired the coach, that I thought that Lafreniere would not be traded, and I think I'm right. Gislain says Newhook is speedy as speedy AF. We'll just do that. And he is blazing speed. Fits right in with what they're trying to do. That speed. He's got hands. He's got skill. He's not just a flash in the pan. I don't believe. That's what next year's about. You haven't seen Newhook. You don't know enough about him. I can see why you're not sold on it, but you will be. I think you will be. Unless you weren't by Kirby Dach. If Kirby Dach didn't impress you, that he's taken a step forward and he's looking really like, if that didn't impress you, maybe Newhook won't impress you. Newhook was chosen one spot after Caulfield. Phil, you are correct. You are correct. Yes, he was. And like I said, he was my pick. I wanted Newhook that year. Was I right and wrong? I think I was right because I wanted him at 15. Caulfield dropped there, so that wasn't going to be. But he went 16, so obviously somebody else thought along the lines I was thinking. KK was bananas. They reached for a position. You know, you might say they did this with Reinbacher, but I don't think that's a reach when you possibly got the second best player in the draft. That's not a reach. Newhook freed Doc from the second to the right of the first. What the hell does that mean, Gislain? Ariel. Hey, Ariel. Lots of people thought Moritz Seider was a stretch at 6. That's right. Not to compare the two. Well, they are comparing them, so it's not just you. It's a good comparison, and he'll prove himself. He'll prove that right or wrong, but yeah, it was the same thing. It was a shock. I remember that draft. It was a bit of a shock when they went for Seider that early. He was not ranked that high at all. So if you don't like Seider, you go, so what? If you do and you're impressed by that, well, Reinbacher has a chance to be that. Maybe even better. Renegade Man says 31st and 37th pick could have been boom or bust. That's right. Newhook is a Stanley Cup winner and an NHL player who is still young, already being developed, and that much farther along to go with their plans to be ready to challenge for the playoffs in the next 2 years. And the 31st and 37th pick would not have been that. Reinbacher's floor compares to a little bit under what Roman Josi is. That's what they're saying. Just a little under Josi and Seider. That's his floor. That's what they're predicting. So I like this player. Again, wasn't my pick. I was disappointed at first. And you saw the shock in my face if you watched the stream. And I thought about it and what I had read about him already. And I thought, I could start seeing it. And then since then, I've read so many good things that, yeah, I'm sold on him. And you could say that I've drunk the Kool-Aid, but I have not. As a matter of fact, I don't have any in front of me at all. Of the goalies in the draft, I think Fowler. I don't know much about the other two. I don't think they're of the same quality. Does that mean Fowler can start next year? No, he's going to have to develop. But I think Fowler's probably the guy they're looking at as a potential number one goalie of the future. The only knock so far I've heard on Fowler is that he needs to get into better shape. That's fixable. So I think once again last year, this scouting team did a bang up job at the draft. And I think this year they did it again. That's what I think. They may not have gotten 4 in the top whatever rounds, but they got two really good prospects, and one that they feel will be here for a long, long time, like guaranteed. And like someone said earlier, they kind of know more than we do. Matt and I were talking about nicknames for him, and awesome, right? I mean, Orville, I didn't even think about that at all because everyone thought that Carey Price had said Reinbacher. I think that's what people thought. I'm writing it down because I just want to say that, yeah, some of these names, like we're trying to find a name for our first T-shirt. So if we can work all that out and get, that could be, I don't know if it'll be Orville. I'm not saying. I'm just saying we're looking for that nickname and a concept that we're thinking of anyway. That's all I'm going to say because we got one I think we're going with. And yeah, I'm not saying more than that. But I like Orville for him. That is really good. That is a good one. Reinbacher getting hate because Hughes didn't pick the player you want, and it's so childish. It's so childish. They're having a temper tantrum. This is what I'm going to say though about that story about all the hate. It's not to say he didn't get any. He did. It was exaggerated a little bit. Eric Engels put out a tweet last night about it, saying, "Listen, you got to take that with, I forget the word. The people who put that out are kind of known for exaggerating things and trying to make more of something, and that's what you got there. So it's not that he didn't get any hate. He didn't get the thousands and thousands, and to the point where Montreal won't bring him to Montreal for a year. That's what I read. He's in town at the development camp. So it tells you that probably Eric Engels' story is accurate. But if there was one person that said, you are a big piece of whatever, and they called him Adolf Hitler, they said, if that happened one time, that's way too much, and this kid didn't deserve it. If you like him or not, doesn't matter. This kid didn't deserve it. He didn't pick himself. The Habs did. Had nothing to do with him. Not his fault if you don't like him. Where am I at already? Oh, wow. I feel like I've been on a lot longer. I'm having a great time, but it just feels like it's been longer. And I'm surprised that it's only 43 minutes. I guess that's because I was on for 2 hours, almost 2 hours this afternoon. I guess that's why. How do I feel about drafting Florian Xhekaj? I personally don't think I don't think he's going to be a regular member of the Habs, but I see it in this way. He's a Xhekaj. We know that what Arbor does, he's got that work ethic and that drive. If he has that, he can make himself better. And then, I don't know, there's possibility. But I see it as the Habs saying to Arbor, you hear the rumors about, are you good enough? Do we have to move you? This is our vote of confidence in you, Arbor Xhekaj, as a member of the Montreal Canadiens. That's how I see it. And and I think they're hoping Arbor also pushes harder and improves even more. And that's how I see it. Renegade Man, you don't know that for 100% sure, but probably that Bergevin had a hand in PLD going to LA. He did us a favor. I'm good with that. So yeah. Is it worth noting that Reinbacher, compared to most players in the draft, played with adults already? It is a big difference. Not only did he play with it, I think it's 2 seasons from 16 and 17 years old. He's been playing with adults. And not only that he's playing with adults and performing well. And to the point where scouts and people in the know, I guess scouts, are saying that he does things that you cannot teach other people to do. You can't teach. That's how good he is. I don't know. That sounds really good to me. I don't think we're being like poured Kool-Aid, you know? I don't think so. Phil, Bergevin was a good trader in general. He made a couple of errors, but he was a good trader. We always said that. I think Kent Hughes is going to knock him out of the water. Just knock him right out of the water. So far, to me, Kent Hughes has done an amazing job of making deals, the drafting, like he's overseeing all that. He's done an amazing job. Gorton as well, obviously. Hey, Troy Evans, how's it going? Been a while. Good to see you, buddy. H2O, also been a while, man. Good to see you. Happy Canada Day. And if anybody that wasn't here at the beginning, happy Canada Day to all. My Canada Day glasses, my Canada Day hat, although I think I bought it last Canada Day, and my Canada Day shirt. I'm all in for Canada. Woohoo! What do I think of the trades today? Well, Devin, that's by the way, welcome in, Devin. Good to see you too, buddy. It's a little like wide open. Like there were a lot. For Edmondson, good deal. You know, it was a certainty they were moving Edmondson. They had to retain 50%. Not surprised at all by that. There's no one's got money to throw around. They got back a third when they only used a fifth to get him. So a third and a seventh after 3 years, a great deal. Opens a spot, makes a little less clutter, and frees up $1,750,000 for the cap. I think it's a good deal. What do I think of the Habs' future? Contend in a few years? Yeah. Contend is different than making the playoffs. We'll start with making the playoffs. And I think, I know we had said 2-3 years down the road, but I think it's 2 now. Next season, the season after. I really think the season after, if they're not making the playoffs, they're in a deep run for a wild card. And then from there, I think it just improves over the years. Over the next 2-3 years, they start to win a series, win 2 series, become a cup contender, and then stay there. They're built to stay there for 4, 5, 6 years as a cup contender, not just a playoff contender. This is what they're building long term, and that's what I think. How, Phil? What are you saying? How's a bed? What's a bed? I know what a bed is. It's where you sleep. Reinbacher is a Weber light. In some ways, I guess you're right. In some ways, but he's more mobile, Weber. And he's 18. He hasn't filled out yet. We don't know that he's Weber light exactly yet. One thing I can tell you, his game is moving the puck. His game is being mobile and moving the puck. And he's good at moving the puck and freeing the forwards. And I've talked about this like a few times. Our forwards, they get kind of bogged down in the neutral zone because there's no one to feed them the puck while they're on the fly consistently. That's what this guy does, and it's something we need. And he's going to grow into that body. Like, he's going to fill out. So he may have more than you think. Did any team pick up Joel Teasdale? No, because Montreal did not qualify him. So he's a free agent. As of 5 p.m. today, I think he's a free agent. Hey, Huzu, how's it going, man? Happy Canada Day to you, too. Phil, yeah, he played in Colorado. He comes with a ring. He played 12 games. In the playoffs that year, had 4 assists as a rookie. I think he might have been a rookie. I'm not sure about that, but I think he was. Gislain Newhook will play center only if there are injuries, if you ask me. Newhook's here as a left wing. Second line left wing to solidify that position. That's what I see. Monahan, I kind of think Monahan might play the wing. And Doc, to me, not even to me, they've said it. They see him as a center, and they will be developing him as a center. Doc is your second line center. So, and they didn't. If PLD was here, might have changed that. They didn't get PLD. Doc is your second line center. Newhook, though, is like your second center on the line. I don't expect him to play a ton of center, though. I expect him to be a second line right wing, a left wing, excuse me. Will Montreal pick up Nylander? No. The money. Think of the money. The money. They're not picking up anybody that's going to cost them that kind of money. Except, they thought they were going to pick up Dubai. I shouldn't say what I said. I guess they're not getting Nylander. First of all, he wants ridiculous money. I would think he's getting 6-9. I think that's the end of that contract. He's going to want 8, 9, 10 million. Nylander. Today's old man brought to you by Kool-Aid, your drink of choice for the Habs. And Drouin. Thank God he's gone. There, you happy, Phil? Teasdale will return to the AHL next year or goes to Europe. He was a free agent, so he's going to do where he's going to go. Fowler committed to Boston College, right? And I did not expect. I said he's not coming. He's not playing for Montreal next year. He's got to develop. He's 18. But goalie of the future down the road. That's how I think they see him. David Reinbacher, I don't know if he fights. I don't think he's a big fighter, but I think he plays physically. He plays a physical game, hits, and does all that. What do I think the Habs will do with Slav this season? I think it'll depend. Personally, I think it depends on his training camp. But I think they want him for the right wing on the second line. So you're going to have Newhook, Doc, and Slav. No, that's not it, eh? I forgot about that. Newhook, Slav would be on the left. I don't know. I think training camp is going to really tell us everything. I haven't had time to process that and think of what's gonna happen. So I apologize. I think Slav has a good camp. He's here in Montreal. He has a so-so to bad camp. He's in Laval. That's what I think. They got David to play with Lane Hudson and let Gully. Who's Gully? Gooley play with Logan Mailloux. The D is set, people. That, the D is set. The D is set. I think that's Reinbacher's that last piece. but that's for a year or two down the road. Mayu is not here. Mayu will be playing in the AHL next year, almost guaranteed. He put out something on his Instagram or something that saying goodbye to the London Knights. He's going to play for Laval next year. So, yeah, when those guys are here, Savard will be gone, Weidman will be gone, and we're going to have a good D. Renault, the information the Montreal Canadiens had is that, yes, Arizona was selecting Reinbacher. And I think the proof of that is that it's true is that they took Simashev right after defenseman, the Russian kid. They were going for a defenseman. I thought so in my first go through, and I think even in when we did the mock draft before the combine, I thought they were going for a defenseman. So yeah, and the information the Habs had was that they were. So it was either trade up, which you couldn't do, or forget about Reinbacher and trade down. You could trade down then if they weren't going to pick him there. I think Reinbacher was their guy going in. They had decided probably that morning that it was Reinbacher. Between personally, I think it was between Leonard and Reinbacher, and Reinbacher's upside, and that thing I showed you guys about that he was considered the second best player in the draft according to the Swiss League. I think that swayed them. The tiebreaker, as you say. Now, Nylander didn't like Matthews. No movement clause kicked in today. No, isn't that the same thing for Nylander? Now it's going to be harder to trade him because he had a modified no trade, where Matthews is a no movement clause. Devin, yes. You know what? After 2-3 years of Reinbacher here, I don't think anybody's going to admit that they were hating on him. When they made the trade. Oh no, I love the trade. Yeah. We'll see. Florian will eventually replace Pizzetta. Could be. That could be. I could see that. I mean, if Florian's going to make it, I'm thinking fourth line. We need one more Xhekaj. There isn't anymore. There's two brothers. That's it. Oh, in the organization, the mom, she's super sharp. We need her. So, you know where? In the social media. I follow her on Twitter, so I think she'd be good for them in social media. But I mean, isn't she? She's like a nurse or something. So I doubt she would do something like that. Not full time, anyway. Phil, I think the only thing you got wrong about the pillows was 18 years ago. I think I read it was 8 or 9 years ago. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe 12 years ago, but it wasn't 18 years ago. Florian's only 18. Yeah, some neighbor made these two pillows with Florian and Arbor on them in a circle with all Habs. It was all Habs design, the pillow. So somebody knew something back then that they were going to be both in the Habs organization. Slavkovsky play on a line with Sean Monahan in Montreal, or you know what? When I'm thinking about that again, I'll say this: Slav probably will play, start him on the third line, left wing, probably something like that, or right wing. I'm not sure. Is he a right wing or a left wing Slav? Can't remember for some reason. Monahan might be the third line center. Probably will be the third line center. It's 9. And somebody texted me. I wonder who that is. Just give me a sec. Phil sent me. I have the pictures, Phil. I retweeted them on Twitter. Love the Xhekaj pick. Teams in this league aren't all treated equal, says Huzu. Montreal is one of those who needs to protect their players themselves. I think it's clear that they're definitely on more of a track to be doing that than they've ever been, right? Hey, Deuce. I used to know somebody we called Deuce, the Deuce. I doubt he's still alive. Some Habs fans are completely deranged and in need of medication. Hate messages because of a draft pick. Yeah, it's children. They act like children. I think the story was blown up a little bit out of proportion. That's all. So it might have not have been thousands, but he probably got like 100 messages. Although somebody either gave him this advice or the kid is smart. He turned off his comments when he posted stuff about the draft. He turned the comments off. So he didn't get too much of it. But apparently he got some. And that's probably why he turned them off after he got some. So, if he got one, it's wrong. I think all the young Habs love Sean Monahan, and I think the feeling's mutual. Monahan's definitely going to mentor some of these guys. I mean, that's while he's here. There's no doubt. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have Monahan and Doc on a line. It's two of the centers. I mean, if you do that, who's going to be the center? Unless maybe like a Beck or somebody else makes the team as a center. But other than that, I mean, I think it's going to be Suzuki, Doc, Monahan, Evans as 1 through 4. That's how I'm looking at it before training camp happens. Deuce, if it's not the best core of D prospects, it's got to be right up there with the best, don't you think? So, and down the road, I mean, yeah, they're pretty much set now for D down the road. Phil Weber works. Yeah. I don't know if he has that shot. He's got a pretty good shot, though. Logan Mailloux is the next Shea Weber. Reinbacher, more like Alex Pietrangelo. That could be. Is Montreal hurt by Boston and New York signing their best French-Canadian roster player in Richard and Belzile? Yeah, Anthony Richard signed with Boston. Yeah, that's right, Boston. Alex Belzile went to the Rangers. I doubt it. I mean, they're serviceable and all that, but not unreplaceable. If Newhook is a left wing, that means it's the end for Harvey Pinard. It is not the end for Harvey Pinard. Hughes said, don't worry, they're going to get to that contract. They like him a lot. Harvey Pinard going nowhere, but Harvey Pinard was not a top six, is not a top six winger. He can play there for periods of time. He's not a top six winger. He's a bottom six guy. So you're looking at probably your third line. I don't know how it's going to work out, but he's not top six, so don't worry about it. And Hughes just said that they're going to get to his contract soon. See, Ray doesn't like that you think it's over for Raphael Harvey Pinard. Are you kidding? No way. That's a kid you got to keep. Huzu, yeah, it's too bad. We didn't have. Excuse me, my voice. It's too bad we didn't have this defense when Kreider did what he did. Honestly, though, if the Habs would have just picked Kreider and not Louis LeBlanc, problem solved. But they were influenced by the fans, and there you go. Why the fans, us who wanted different players, shouldn't be making that decision. All right. I'm glad it made you happy, dude. I hope Armia's not there. Newhook's not there as a center, dude. He's not there as a center. He's there as a guy who can play center. Yes. He's not there as a center. He's there as a winger. Raphael Harvey Bedard. Yeah, but, he's not going to get those opportunities because that was because of injuries. He responded. It's amazing, but he's not going to get that unless there's injuries and they need, and he's a Swiss Army knife, can play anywhere up and down the line. The Leafs are a dumpster fire. Yes. It's impossible. Like, I don't think, I've been writing. I don't think I could write a poem that would have had what's happened to the Leafs in the last, like, since the end of the playoffs. Like, I don't think I would have thought of, like, for sure, Sheldon Keefe is still going to be the coach. You were going to fire him. Instead, you fired Dubas because whatever happened. And then you looked at Keefe and said, you know what? No, we like him. What? I don't get that. Anyway, I don't know. The fact that O'Reilly and Acciari and Shen, who all were so pumped to be in Toronto, all left. Yeah, they know what's up. Huzu, I was happy also about 5 minutes in. I was totally shocked because I had said they're not taking Reinbacher. They took Reinbacher. But, I mean, I wasn't hating on the kid. Not for a second did I hate on that pick. I was just shocked. I was disappointed, but quickly came around. Just have to do a little research on the kid, and you'll see what. I don't see how you don't like what you see from him. This draft was about addressing different needs than the last couple of drafts. Yes, they solidified the defense. I think that D is set. And they found a goalie to be, to be starting, hopefully to be a goalie of the future, potentially. And they needed goalies in the system, and they got some more. So I think, yeah, they needed goalies in the system. And listen, their D is set. The forwards are pretty much there. They're getting there. If not, they're pretty much there. They worked on, getting the D. And it was time to address that Primo is probably not the guy. And you got to find somebody else. So they did that with Fowler, and they found a couple more. I know nothing about the Russian kid actually of either two of the other two goalies. I don't know anything. All right. I am going to be taking off here in like momentarily. Before y'all leave, I can't, there's 46 people here. Wow. It makes me not want to take off. Okay. Maybe I'll stay a little longer, but before anybody leaves, please give a thumbs up if you had a good time and you enjoyed the show tonight. And if you're new, because there's a lot of people here, and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. Yeah, I'm here regularly twice a week in the off season. That's not going to change, by the way. Now that Free Agent Frenzy's here, I'm still doing Wednesday and Saturday live streams. Phil, Suzuki line does not need a left winger. They have one. His name is Cole Caulfield. They need a right winger. We have 8 centers on the Habs: Doc, Monahan, Newhook, Dvorak, Hoffman, Evans, Pitlick. No, but now you're being ridiculous, okay? We do have 8 centers, or more likely, or more to say, we have 8 guys that can all play center. That doesn't make them centers, okay? And I'm sorry if you're going to put Hoffman in there. No. And Pitlick, no. Could they be used there if needed? Yeah, basically, but not for any length of time. So I don't know where you get Hoffman to even put Hoffman there. We have Suzuki, Doc, Monahan, Evans, centers. Newhook is a left wing that can play center. How many miles down the road? Oh, down the road a ways there. Just down a ways a bit there. At least having a Richard playing for the Habs for one season was fun while he lasted. How many games? Not too many. Deuce, yeah, Harvey Pinard is extremely valuable, but he's not a top 6 guy. That's all. You win cups with guys like Harvey Pinard. You do. Well, it's obvious you win cups. But, I mean, you need guys like that to win cups. That's what I should have said. We have enough picks to involve a second team to hold up 75% of Armia's salary. He's not terrible for fourth line at $1 million, but problem is, if you're saying 75%, so Montreal would retain 25%. No. Armia's here for 2 or 3. How many more years? At least 2. Montreal's not retaining salary beyond this season coming. They don't want any dead cap for the season after that. So they're not willing to do that. With the way Leafs are going, there will be a shortage of popcorn. Joe, you might be right. At least, fuel for my Leaf hating. It doesn't get better. It does get. I mean, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better than this for a guy who likes to rag on the Leafs. It's great. It's like mind-boggling that some of the moves that they've done. I don't get it. Scratch your head and go, interesting. And then you go, yeah, that's why they haven't won a cup in 50,000 years. H2O. If Ryan O'Reilly didn't go back there, I mean, he talked it up last year when he got traded there, and he didn't go back. Something wrong over there. Have a good night, Larry. Larry the cable guy. Good to see you again, buddy. No, don't worry. Like if you're in and out and been a long time, as long as you come in every now and then. Oh, you found my website. Awesome. Thank you. Leon says 5 years down the road for what? Winning a cup? That's what I think. 5 years makes sense to me. All right. I don't care. There's new comments, I know, but I got to go. I got to take my dog out because the rain, I couldn't take her out. So listen, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Give a thumbs up if you had a good time. And I appreciate all the people. That was his pretty good numbers tonight. A little surprising because I was on earlier. And till next time, when is next time? I'm going to get that Joel Edmondson video out soon. After I get back from walking the dog, I'm going to do that. So look for that. Give that a watch. And what else? I'll be back on Wednesday. I guess. When are we? Saturday? Wednesday for the Wednesday stream. And any other video. I'm going to do a Reinbacher video. So look for that. And I don't know. That's it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe till next time. Peace out, everybody. Have a good rest of the evening. And that's it. Ciao, everybody. Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day.